Good morning, everybody. We're on our way to work. It's bright and early. The sun's just coming up. Say hi, Aaron.
Morning, y'all.
And our puppies are back here in the laying down, being good puppies on their way to work. Hope you guys have a great day. We have the most beautiful sunrises in Oklahoma. Just look at that pink sky. It's so pretty. It's like that almost every day. I'm sure they're beautiful other places too, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Thought I'd share that with you guys. Here's Rupert being a camera ham. He always likes to be on camera. He's so goofy. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel.
It's good to have you back again.
In case you're new here, I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're Avery Street Design Studio.
Yep.
In today's video, we're going to do 4 new projects. They're good projects that will be great Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, anything like that, and they sell really well.
Yep. 2 of them we sell. We're going to show you how we make them and the way that we produce them to sell. One of them we've built before, but we don't sell, and then another one is a duplicate of a pottery barn project.
Yeah. The first one's going to be a railroad crossing sign, then a blanket ladder.
6 feet tall.
6 feet tall blanket ladder, and then a small ladder that you put either in a kitchen or a bathroom for towels, hand towels.
Yep.
And then the last one is the pottery barn dupe, and it's a recipe book holder.
Right.
They're really pretty. I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Yep, these are all things you can add to your store before the holidays start that may be excellent gifts for people to buy.
Yes.
They're all going to be made out of, they're all going to be made, all but one are going to be made out of reclaimed wood. We can't do a 6 foot tall reclaimed wood ladder, so that'll be 2 by 6 that you have to buy, but very inexpensive.
Yeah, so in addition to Christmas decor that sells, which we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks, it's real important to put items in your shop that are good gifts.
Yep. Because
people are starting to buy that stuff now. You know, school has started, so they've got their kids settled in school. Yeah. So the next big expenses are holidays. Yep. Decor, people will be getting their houses ready for Thanksgiving. I know I always kind of fix it up a little when the family's coming over, and then Christmas gifts. So these are going to be really good ones to have in your shop. Yep. So you guys stick around till the end and you'll see all the finished products. And
we'll give you the prices, what we would charge for these things.
And all the measurements.
That's right.
So let's get started on the first one.
Yep. We're going to start out by joining the edges of 4 of these pallet boards to get a straight edge so we can glue them together. Now that we got the boards jointed, we're going to glue up 2 to each other so we have 2 halves of the railroad crossing sign. So the first one we're going to start with is the railroad crossing. You saw me run the pieces of pallet wood through the joiner so we could get a straight edge on them, and we've glued them together. I've made them 38 inches long, but the finished piece of each part of the X is going to be 36. So they're glued and they're dried, and now we're going to plane them. If you don't have a planer, you can sand. It just might take a while. And then we're going to cut them down to size on the table saw, and then I'll show you how to put them together.
We're now running the boards through the planer to get them nice and smooth.
So we've got the glued up boards all planed down so they're all one solid piece. Now we're going to run both of them through the table saw. I'm going to cut one of the rough edges off and then move the saw to 5 inches, which is the finished width of each one of the pieces.
Now we're cutting the boards down to 36 inches.
So the X will be equal on all 4 sides. It'll be an equal X. So we need to find the center of one of the boards. These are 36 inches. And we'll find the center and then measure out 2.5 inches from either side of that. And this will be your 5-inch piece right here. Now this is about the easiest thing you can build, but they look really cool and they sell pretty good. You just glue one of the sides. Not enough glue. And I'm just gonna put some staples in it. That's all there is to building a railroad crossing sign. If you hang this on the wall, you can notice it flops back and forth. I always put a small piece of wood here and here so it lays flat against the wall, and I'll do that now. Now these won't be visible from the front when you have it hanging on the wall. And we just use this wood filler by Famo Wood. This isn't an endorsement, this is just what we use.
That was the building process of the railroad crossing sign. It's a lot of fun. I really like that project.
Super easy.
So next we're going to do our 6-foot blanket ladder. We sell these all the time. They're pretty quick and easy to make, And because I know Aaron makes them on days when we're busy and he has a tight schedule and gets them done really fast.
Yeah,
so.
there's not much to them. We use a lot of pocket holes in this, so if you're not familiar with pocket holes, you should become familiar because you can do a lot with them, and they're just very handy and fast.
All right, so we're going to get started building the blanket ladder.
Yep. So we start with 2x6. You'll notice this one is really bowed, so if you can make a bowed one look good, you're doing really well. I start out by cutting at 6 feet, and then we're going to need 5 15-foot half pieces of 2x6. We'll get to that in a second. So now we're going to do the blanket ladder, and quick note, we said 6 foot in the opening. I'm going to make a 5-foot ladder because the piece of 2x6 I had was so bowed we wouldn't be able to do it. So we're changing it to a 5-foot blanket ladder, and that's what we're going to do now. So we've got the pieces cut since we switched to the 5-foot ladder. Same design, same way of building, it's just a foot shorter with one less step. So I start out by, usually I make them out of 2x6s, but these are pieces of scrap, so we're going to use those. Start out by cutting all my pieces to 2 5/8 inches wide. I don't change the thickness of the wood, just those are the cuts we made.
So the next item we're making is the tea towel blanket ladder. It can also be used in the bathroom for your hand towel. You can just lean it up on your countertop against the wall, and they're really cute.
I think I've seen these where you can hang them on the wall too with rope or something. That's not what we're going to do, but it's possible.
Yes.
So
we're going to go ahead and do it. And the blanket ladder and the tea towel ladder, after they're sanded, is when you go ahead and paint them before you put them together. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a backwards process, but that's what works best.
Yeah, it's easier to paint loose pieces than something put together.
Yep. So let's get started on that.
So the little blanket ladder is 15 inches tall by 9.5. We're just going to use the 3/4 inch pallet wood, and we're not going to mess with that measurement. So I'm going to cut all these pieces up now. So I'm going to cut up the parts for the small blanket ladder, the tea towel ladder. All of the parts, the legs and the rungs are all going to be 1.5 inches, so that's where we're at now.
So now we're going to go ahead and sand the railroad crossing sign, the blanket ladder, and the tea towel ladder. Like we said before, it's easiest to paint the blanket ladder and tea towel ladder before they're put together. So that's what we're going to do. Now we're spray painting the railroad crossing sign black. The black will show through after it's distressed. It's going to have a coat of white paint also on top of that.
So we got the black dried. It's not a very good coat, but it doesn't really matter. Then we're going to hit it a couple times with white paint, and it's going to get really distressed before she does the lettering on it. Now we're going to do the big blanket ladder. These get really heavily distressed too. I don't usually put more than a coat on them because it's rustic and it's old, and that's really all it needs. So that's where we're at now. So on the little ladder, we're going to use color we haven't used very much of, Phantom Gray. I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but we'll find out together.
I figured I would show you guys the cup gun we used to spray the guitar on last week's episode. It's a central pneumatic 20 fluid ounce, high volume, low pressure, gravity feed spray gun. We got these at Harbor Freight. I'm sure you can order them on Amazon or wherever, but they're very inexpensive and they work great. You can use paint in them, stain, whatever you want. So there you go.
So the last one we're going to do is the Pottery Barn recipe book holder. We're also going to make this out of pallet wood, but like all these, you don't have to do that. We need to glue up a few pieces because it's a little taller than normal pallet wood. So, yeah.
I'm really excited about this. I still use recipe books. I mean, sometimes I use my phone, but these are made to where you can sit your phone or tablet on it, or, you know, if that's what you use for your recipes. Yep. But there is an occasion when I do get out my recipe book, and it'll be great to have something to just get out and use when I need it.
Yeah, these are really easy to build.
And a lot cheaper than Pottery Barn.
A lot cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
This would be like 1/10 of the cost.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to get going on next.
All right.
So we're going to glue up the biggest part of the stand, the book stand. We're just going to use pallet wood again. This particular project has a strip of oak inlaid into it. I don't have any oak, but we have some really pretty mahogany. It's just as fancy. We use that. So that we're going to get this glued up and go from there. So now the wood is dried on the recipe book holder. We're gonna run it through the planer to get it smoothed out, and we're gonna cut it down on all sides for the final dimensions of 11.5 tall by 11 wide.
Now the glue's dry, so we're going to run the board through the planer to get it extra smooth. We're cutting down the board for the recipe book holder down to its final length.
After we get it cut down to its final length, I take it over to the table saw and get it cut down to its final width. Now we're going to cut the kickstand for the back. It's going to be 9.5 inches. So now we're going to cut the bevel at 30 degrees on the bottom side of the holder. And for the kickstand, we're going to do the same this direction and that direction. Record. So now we've got all the bevels cut, and you can see they all sit flat against each other. So I think we did good. So now we've got the big part and the kickstand. All we have to do is make the little tray for the book to sit in. That's what we're going to do now. I'm going to make the tray 2 inches deep for the size of the book, and then we'll make 1.5 inch lip to stand up. Well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Correction, we're going to leave the lip at 1 3/4 inches. So now we're going to cut the dado for the inlay into the stand part. It has an oak inlay. We're going to use mahogany, which is just as fancy. There's a lot of different ways you can cut this groove. You can cut it with a dado stack like I'm put on here, or you can just use your single table saw blade. They just take a bunch of passes, or you can do it with a router and a dado bit on it, or even a hammer and a chisel if you're patient. We're going to use the stack, and I'm going to do that now. There we go.
Now Aaron's putting the regular saw blade back on the saw. There is a lot of time spent in the wood shop changing out blades and things like that.
Now we're going to work on the inlaid piece of mahogany. I'm going to cut it down to 11 1/4, and then I'm going to plane it down to just over 1/8 inch thick. All right, so change of plans on the book holder. I'm gonna put their, I'll put it right here, their version. I'm gonna leave it up for a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. Their version has an oak inlay. Let me move over here so the picture isn't in the way. Uh, their version has an oak inlay, but pine tray to hold the book. Is a $140 thing. You'd think they would use oak on the bottom to match the inlay, but they didn't. Because in the picture, you can see the wood is two different colors. So, first off, if you can get $140 for this, by all means do it. But we're going to be correct with our speciesing of the wood, and we're going to make the inlay match the tray. So, there you go. So now we've got more mahogany, and we're going to make the tray out of that.
What size are you cutting it down to?
This is 9.5 inches. So now we're going to rip the new mahogany tray pieces. I'm just going to make them both 2 inches. Actually, I'm going to make one 2 inches, 1 inch and 3/4.
All right, so Aaron's gluing together the book holding part that we changed to mahogany. I'm going to have him do that real quick, and then we'll spray it with a clear coat. And then when we're putting the book holder together, I'll do the overhead shot.
There you go.
So Aaron's just going to seal these real quick with some sealer.
Lacquer sealer.
Yeah, lacquer sealer.
So we're going to paint the book stand with one of the mist tints we got from Ace for $7. You can see the color, kind of a greenish color. Keep your eye out for mist tints because you can always find something you like. So we're going to do that now.
They actually have some of them in a color very similar to this on Pottery Barn's website. I think they come in about, I don't know, 4 or 5 different colors. And if I remember correctly, they want $141 for one of these. So, yeah, that's a lot of money. And I just would never get one if I had to pay that. So if you can offer something like this at a lower price, people will absolutely buy it.
Cheryl wanted me to explain to you what this box is. You'll probably see it a ton. So this is a homemade drying oven. I've worked in lots of big factories throughout my painting career that had conveyor belts that let into an oven, kind of like a production line. This is a small version of that to dry the paint that we do every day for the clocks and stuff. It's got space for 4 regular hair dryers in the top that blow down, and it's like a pizza oven for paint. I made that because we don't have time to let stuff dry on its own a lot of days, so there you go. Trying to figure out how to put this recipe book holder together was kind of confusing. I first put the kickstand on before I put the tray on, and I had to pull it off so I could put the tray on. It took a few tries, but I finally got it figured out. Once I got my mind around it, the hardest part was trying to figure out where to nail from the back to put the tray on. There's not really anywhere to lay out a line, so I was just kind of guessing. But I finally got it put on, and it turned out really good. After I got the hard part done with the tray, all I had left to do was put the kickstand back on and glue the strip of mahogany in on the front. This thing turned out way better than I thought it would. Now we're going to move on to finishing up the blanket ladder. The blanket ladder is held together with pocket holes and screws. I put the holes in the wood with this Craig jig and the special drill bit that comes with it. You just drill the holes and set the wood in place and screw it together, and that's all there is to it. When I'm laying out the spots for the rungs of the ladder, I start from the top and measure down 3 inches. And then from that 3 inches, every 12 inches down until I've got all of them laid out. This one has 4, so the bottom one is at 39 inches. When you're putting the rung pieces in with the uprights, on my version, your thing is tilted at an angle, so the bottom corner and the upper corner line up with the edges of the legs. That way they sit at an angle, and they're very sturdy that way. So we've got all of our parts dried and ready to assemble. they're spaced out evenly from the top, which is down inch and 1/8. Every 5 1/8 inches, we're going to put a rung. So we're going to nail it together now, and that'll be it. Dang. There it is.
So now I'm going to apply the letters to the railroad crossing sign. I am using these stencils. They are from Hobby Lobby. You can get any kind of stencils, but these are really good because they're made out of plastic and you can reuse them. So I always like to start with the word railroad. I'm just going to try to center them. I know about how far apart they go. So I will just start by doing the first one. I know from doing them so many times that they're about 2 inches from the edge. And then I make sure there's an even space between the top and the letter and the even space between the bottom and the letter. And I'm using my Faber-Castell markers again. That's what I love to use. So what I'll do is just trace each word, each letter, and then I'll go back and fill them in. Now we're going to do crossing. So on this side it'll be C-R-O-S, and then on this side it'll be S-I-N-G. And usually we put like 2 little bolts in the middle to make it look like the bolt signs were bolted together. I don't know if we're doing that on this one or not, but now I'm going to connect my letters. Hey, just like on the last one, I'm going to start with the last letter, so I will space it properly. Now when you're coloring in your letters, when you're doing the center part, if you don't feel like it's dark enough, you can always go over it again with a second coat. It just depends on how dark it turns out.
Now we have the lettering done. We're going to put 2 holes here for these bolts, give it more of an authentic look, and then we're going to distress it and spray the sealer on it, and that'll be it for this. Just really light, really quick to kind of scuff up the lettering and make it aged looking. You don't want to sand too hard or you'll take the whole letter off, so just real light. Yeah. You can do this with any of the ink on anything. You can distress it because you can see it doesn't smear and it doesn't really disappear when you sand on it. It looks really good when it's distressed. So this ink is fantastic for that too. Now we're going to put the bolts in and spray it. There you have it. Now the last step is to seal the paint and the lettering. I always use lacquer sealer because we use it for everything. You don't have to use lacquer sealer. They make clear spray cans of sealer. They also make the polyacrylic, which is water-based. You can roll it on or brush it on. It works just the same. This is what we use, so that's what we're going to use today.
So those are the 4 projects we did this week. They're all really cool, super profitable projects. They would all make great gifts. And this time of year, it's good to list or sell wherever you sell projects that would be good gifts because people are going to start Christmas shopping soon.
And these will sell year round, but now's a good time to get them into the mix.
Yeah.
And if you'll notice, we are not wrapping up our video at home on the couch. We're going to have grandkids this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hectic with all that.
But between the grandkids and the dogs, it's just really hard to film. Yeah. So here, first item we did was a railroad crossing sign.
Hold that up for you.
And we would sell this for $200, and that includes shipping. Mm-hmm. Shipping is going to run you about $30 to $35. Right. And these sell really good. We sell them all the time.
There's very little to them material-wise. This was made out of pallet wood that I glued together.
Yep.
And we have the paint. She had the markers.
Yep, and the 2 bolts.
Yeah, we have those too.
And we're going to put a hook on the back of it. So that's pretty much your cost involved if you use pallets.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you use new wood, it's still low cost on these, and you would still make a great profit.
Yeah.
So
they're cool. Okay, so the next one is the tiny tea towel thing. Sorry, upside down. Tea towel ladder.
Yep, it's super cute.
Yep. These go for, we would sell this for $25, probably with free shipping. Shipping on that might be $10.
And all we have in cost is a little bit of stain and some sealer.
Stain we already had. So,
yeah, so really, few dollars.
Very, very
if
cheap.
Even that much.
Lots of profit on little things like that.
Yes.
And then the favorite is the recipe book holder.
Yeah, the Pottery Barn dupe.
Yeah.
Now on Pottery Barn, these are regular $189, which is crazy. They're on sale right now for $141. We feel comfortable selling this one for $65.
Yep.
It's still a huge profit margin. And ours, the bonus is the book holder part is also mahogany on theirs.
And inlay.
Yeah. Theirs, they have oak right here, but then they put pine down here, and you can slightly see a difference in the color. They tried to stain it to match, but it didn't work.
Yeah. So this is equally as fancy, half the price. You could if you got into a rhythm of making these, you could crank them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I hadn't done one yet, so it took me a minute to get my head around it, but it turned out really good. It's going to go in our kitchen.
Yeah.
Very excited about that.
Yeah.
And then the last one, move this, is the full-size blanket ladder. We built a 5-foot version. Oh, sorry. Can we do it? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
5-foot version of that.
Whoops. Knocking everything down.
Right.
It's okay.
This size we would sell for $175. That also includes shipping. Shipping on a long, skinny rectangle box is going to be about $45 to $50. It consists of, I built them out of 1 2x6, which is about $6.
Now, if this was 6 foot, remember we did 5 foot because our 6 foot board was bowed, twisted. 6 foot would be about $225.
Right. Also including
shipping.
Yep. These are pure profit minus the cost of the wood. So and whatever shipping.
And even if you bought new wood, you get 1 2x4. However much those are now.
Now they're like $4 here.
Yeah, and you could just split it in half and make the sides and the rungs out of that. So.
Yeah, you can do your wood any width you want. I just do it this size because you can split a 2x6 down the middle and get your parts out of it.
Yeah.
So $175 on that. Oops.
Well, my mic fell off.
Right.
So these are the 4 projects. They're all really good sellers, and 2 of them, for sure, we know are good sellers because we make them all the time. So there you go.
Got more ideas for your shop or your brick and mortar store, whatever you have.
Craft shows, wherever you sell.
Yep. So keep these in mind when you're looking for products. And our next project is going to be, we're going to build a mid-century modern record player stand. This probably won't be a Sunday release. Probably be a Wednesday or a Saturday, but excited about that. So look for that.
And I'll have another tutorial coming up on Saturday at 10 a.m.
Right.
So we'll look for that also. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, we would greatly appreciate it if you would. That really helps us. It helps us to be seen more, to get more traffic, to continue to make these videos. We love making these videos, and we really enjoy showing people how to do things.
And if you like the video also, that helps the algorithm find us easier. So we would appreciate that too.
And we have a really good friend. She has started a vlog here on YouTube. Her name is Tara, and it's Tara Vlogs. And if you think it might be something you would be interested in watching, I'm going to include a link below to her channel.
Yep.
So if you feel like it, give her a check it
They're a
out,
sweet
and
little
give her
family.
a subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah, it would greatly help them out a lot.
Yep. So that's going to do it for this one. We appreciate you guys watching.
Yes.
Keep an eye out for the next one. We're excited to release it.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.